Hey everyone, it's technology expert Burton Kelso here with Integral, sharing another tech tip that'll help you get the most out of the technology in your life. Today we're going to talk about keeping your information safe from websites and social media sites. In recent weeks, we've all heard about the Cambridge Analytica scandal with Facebook, and now people are looking into Google to find out what information they have on you. Some people have gone as far as deleting their Facebook accounts. Others are not using Google or using other browsers in order to use or to surf the website without being tracked. So what can you do? Well, there's several things that you can do in order to keep your browsing habits safe, but I think we need to first concentrate on what it is that allows these social media sites and these websites to keep track of you. Well, that thing is called cookies. Cookies aren't the type that Cookie Monster would munch on. They're actual miniature files that are embedded in your web browser. The main purpose of cookies is to allow you to have a better or faster experience when you visit a website. So let's say you go to a website with Google Chrome. If you visited that site before, the website will look in your cookies to see what features you already have embedded in your browser and what features you need to have added. Now, the bad side about cookies is that since it does store information about the websites you visited in your web browser, websites are now designed to look at your cookies to build a profile about you using that information. Certain websites such as Google and Facebook can take your information and sell it to advertisers who then will target you with the stuff that they think that you want. How do you get rid of cookies and how can you surf the web anonymously? Well, we're going to switch screens here and take a look, and I'm going to show you how to get rid of those nasty cookies. Let's switch screens here, and there we are. So we've got a web browser. We've got Firefox. Now this Firefox has cookies built into it. So what can I do to eliminate those cookies? Well, Windows, Macintosh, and Android users, fear not. There is a freebie program that you can use in order to get rid of cookies. And that program is called CCleaner. CCleaner can be found you can just Google CCleaner. Let's do that right now so that you can find it. Unfortunately, I always forget the company that makes this program. It's Piriform, and you can go here and download CCleaner and get it and run it on your computer. But it's a pretty simple program. Let's open up our browser here and go back to CCleaner. What CCleaner can do is it'll detect most browsers on your computer. So if you've got Microsoft Edge, Internet Explorer, Firefox, or Chrome, CCleaner will find those browsers and you can tell it to clear out your internet history, your internet cache, and as you can see, your cookies. Once you run CCleaner and make sure that your browsers are closed, CCleaner will go through and clean out all of those pesky cookies for you. Now, if you don't know how to use CCleaner or you don't want to run through this utility all the time, there's a simple way that you can go into your web browser and make sure that people can't track what you do. Now, each browser's got its own settings, so let's go to Apple users first. Rejoice. If you are using Safari for your Mac, and I know a lot of Mac users out there are going to say, that's why I use a Macintosh, because I don't have to worry about it. Safari already has the ability to block cookies built into the website. So fear not, if you're an Apple user and you use Safari, you don't have to worry about blocking cookies because that feature is already built in. Same thing with your iOS device. If you're using Safari in your iPhone or iPad, then you're rest assured that those websites aren't tricking you or tracking you and tricking you because it's using Safari. But if you're not using Safari and you're using Firefox or Chrome on your smart device, then you have to do the following. So going back to our homepage for Firefox, and that's the browser we're currently in right now, what you want to do is go to the File menu on Firefox and click New Private Window. What private browsing do, excuse me, let me go back. So File, a New Private Window. Now what private browser does is it does not save your cookies. It will save your bookmarks and your downloads, and you can have track and protection too, which means that you won't be tracked by websites because it's not saving your important information. And that's very important when you're surfing the web. These retailers get your information because they're pulling cookies from your browser. If you clear out your cookies with CCleaner and you use private browsing mode, you don't have to break down and delete Facebook like everyone is doing. Our next browser, if I can pull it up, would be Opera. Opera is an up-and-coming browser that a lot of people are switching to because it's got two awesome features. One of those features is the private browsing. So if you go to the menu in Opera and then you go to New Private Window, after a few seconds it'll open up a window and you can do private browsing. Just like Firefox, it does not track your surfing habits and it doesn't save your cookies, so you can surf anonymously. One of the other features built into Opera is it has a VPN. Now VPN stands for Virtual Private Network, and what it does is it essentially masks where you're going from your internet service provider. So if you are afraid your internet service provider is tracking your cookies, which is possible, you can turn on both the private browsing and the VPN in Opera and keep your browsing safe. What you would do is in the upper window up here, you just click on VPN. It's currently off. You can tell it to go on, and then you can surf to your heart's content and know that your information is not going to be tracked. Now it'll give you an IP address, and then you can tell it specifically where you want to appear that you're surfing from. So if you want to appear that you're in the Americas, you can choose there. You could do Europe, or you can do Asia, or optable means that Opera will pick what's the best location for you. VPN is not necessary, but it's definitely a handy tool that's built into Opera that will allow people to not get your information. Our next browser is Google Chrome, and let's click on Chrome. Chrome has the same feature. You can go up to the top menu here, go to incognito window, and it'll open up a private browsing window. Well, it says it won't track your cookies and all that other good stuff. Now, one thing to note about Google is that Google uses Chrome in order to collect your information. So the question is can you really trust the incognito mode in Google? I'll leave that up to you, and you can discover if you think that's safe. But anyway, you can go in incognito in Google Chrome, and you can surf to your heart's content. Now, our last browser is Microsoft Edge. For you Windows users out there, hopefully you're using Edge and you're not using Internet Explorer, as Internet Explorer is an unsupported browser anymore, and you definitely don't want to be surfing the web with Internet Explorer. Now, in Edge, you just need to click on New and Private Window, and lo and behold, you can browse in private. Basically does the same thing. Your cookies aren't tracked, and no one can see exactly what you're doing on the web. So keep those tips in mind when you use your browser. You really don't have to go to all those drastic measures of getting off of social media and deleting your accounts. The main thing is that with the social media and with Google, you do have to worry about some of the plugin apps that go in with the social media site. But if you use your head and you browse in private mode, it definitely will keep you safe from the hackers and, well, I shouldn't say hackers, with the people that are spying on your information. The challenge is with companies collecting your data, with all the data breaches that have been going on in recent months, you want to keep your data as centrally located with fewest sources as possible, because companies have become negligent, and the ones that have gathered your data could be a victim of a data breach, and then your information is out there. So do your part, keep your information centralized on your computer, and try not to share as much of your surfing habits by cleaning out your cookies with CCleaner and going through and surfing in incognito mode. You Android users out there, you can use these same tips in the browsers that you use in your platform. So, as always, if you got comments or questions, leave them in the comments section below. Would love to hear from you to find out if you have ways that you prevent people from tracking your surfing habits, or if you've got questions about the methods that I've shown in this video. Speaking of videos, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channels at Integral and mine, Burton Kelso. Videos there that are designed to help you get the most from your digital life, as well as our social media accounts. So check us out. We're not going anywhere and deleting any social media. So check us out on social media so that you can keep up with the latest tech trends, tips, and cybersecurity alerts. As always, folks, take care of yourself and do many things to make you smile. And thanks for watching.